Shelley Winter, live, local, topical, and relevant. So we're putting out the question of the night. I love this audience. I love this audience. You guys are hilarious. So the question of the night that started off by talking about the Democrat Party for the state of Georgia they're having their state convention this weekend, and they put out their convention playlist and asked people to add to it. So I thought I'd do the same thing with my audience here. What song would you add to the Democrat Party of Georgia's playlist at their convention this weekend? So we have a bunch of Democrat listeners, I can see, because what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people called in to tell us we are the champions. So clearly those are Democrats calling in. We appreciate you guys listening. But 6 callers called in and said they need to add "We Are the Champions" by Queen to the playlist. One caller called in. This is the funniest one. Johnny Cash, "A Boy Named Sue." You guys are classic. The Democrats should add Johnny Cash's "A Boy Named Sue" to their state convention playlist. Caller called in and said "No Diggity" should be added. Let's see what else. So we got calls calling in. Midnight Train to Georgia is already on the playlist. That person called in. So keep the calls coming. What songs should the Democrats add to their state convention playlist? 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. A Boy Named Sue. I love you guys. I love this audience so much. You guys are hilarious. So I want to talk about really quickly. I wanted to spend time on this, but I'm not sure that I'll have the time until now. Right now. Bill Crane's coming up at 8. Why can't we come together? So let me take you back a little bit in history, my friends, right? There have been 3 points in this country's history where our people were divided. The first time was during and right before the American Revolution. There were people divided because there were people who wanted to separate from Britain and become an independent country. And there were loyalists who wanted to stay citizens of Britain. And they fought. This wasn't just some debates in colleges or, in town squares. These were real. They had fights. They had battles. People were killed between people who wanted to leave Britain's control and become independent, and people who were loyal to Britain. Many loyalists fought on the side of the British during the American Revolution. But that's where differences came to a head, and they fought. Obviously, the Civil War, the country split in half almost, and tens and hundreds of thousands of men and people were killed. Brother against brother, family against family. People went to West Point together or fighting on the battlefield trying to kill each other. The third time, during the Civil Rights Movement and the anti-war movement, we came to loggerheads. People wanted to leave Vietnam, never wanted to go into Vietnam. They were against the draft, they're against the war, and there were people on the other side yelling at them, saying, "This is your country, love it or leave it." There are people who thought the government could do no wrong. They would never lie to us. We need to fight the commies. And there are people in the South who thought the civil rights movement, no, we're going to battle you. You're not equal. You can't sit at the front of the bus, even though you paid the same price. You can't sit at the front of the bus. You can't be served at the counter. And people fought that. And it was very violent. People died. Now we're at a point in our history, again, where we're divided. But I don't think, see, those other 3 times, we came through it. We survived. We grew. The country got better. It took time, but the country got better. But we survived it. I'm afraid that we won't survive the division that we have in this country right now. And here's why. In those other times that I just laid out for you, the division was clear. The lines were clear. One side wanted to break off from the British. The other side didn't. One side thought states had every right to have slavery. The other side didn't. One side wanted to be separated from the country and have their own country. The other side wanted to keep the Union together. These lines were clearly defined. During the Civil Rights Movement, one side wanted just fair treatment. Yes, if I pay 5 cents to get on a bus, I can sit wherever I want to. If I go to vote, I can cast a vote without having to pass the test being asked how many jelly beans in a jar. Another group said, no, we don't want to fight in a foreign country against communism and spend blood and treasure. No, we don't want to do that. Another side said, yes, we need to do that. But at this point in our history, in this fight, the lines are not clearly defined. The only clear delineation of the divide in this country is basically centered around one man. You either like Trump or you hate him. But the problem with that is that nobody has a moral or fact-based belief. In those other conflicts or divided times in our history, there were concrete beliefs. You can debate them. Now you can't debate them. I'm in a party or was in a party, I guess I'm thrown out now, but I'm in a party where where spending was something that was to be cut. We don't spend money recklessly. Now that same party, those same groups are like, yeah, spend what you want. It's a time when Democrats talked about the COVID. They didn't want to take the vaccine. Democrats didn't want to take the vaccine. We're not going to take that Trump vaccine. Then they got into power and they forced everyone to take the vaccine. And I can go down the list on both sides of the aisle where people believe something one day and changed it the next, all centered around who was pushing the position at any given time. Keisha Lance Bottoms here in Georgia, she wants to expand Medicaid, and the right says, yeah, well, where are you going to get the money? Where's the money going to come from? What's going to cost? What you going to cut? What taxes are you going to raise? Republicans are screaming and yelling, cut state income taxes, cut property taxes, and no one asks the same questions. And the Democrats are like, no, I want to pay more. Because it's R versus D. Trump, anti-Trump. That's unsustainable, my friends. Completely unsustainable. We can't come back from that kind of infighting when it's so emotional and it's so driven by I'm not an R, I'm not a D, or whatever the R says is wrong, whatever the D's say are wrong. That's not sustainable because you don't have a clearly defined principle that you're fighting for. During the civil rights movement, there was a clearly defined principle. During the Civil War, there was a clearly defined principle. Before the American Revolution and during, there was a clearly defined principle. Now, the clearly defined principle is, if he said it, I'm against it. That's unsustainable. A country cannot last like that. And until we get to the point where we're debating issues based on the issue and not who's for or against the issue, I'm sad to say this country may not last into the next decade. It's the Shelley Winter Show. We'll be right back.